And yeah, make sure you've got a pen and a few sheets of paper, because we want to make sure that you take away notes from today that are actually going to help you in your life.
Yes, you want to do things with passion. Yes, you want to do it with perfection. You want to be creative. You want to think critically when you are doing things. That's great examples, because now we are putting the values in the context of doing things.
If you keep going a little bit, your brain will continue to grow, it can learn, and the challenges are the next adventure. And the favorite word and the biggest word in growth mindset, it's a 3-letter word, yet. And that changes the impossible to the possible.
Hello everyone, good to have you. How many people we have now? We are very happy to have you here. So while we are waiting for the others, let's just introduce ourselves into the chat box.
We want to really hear your voices. So if you'd like to contribute, be ready to turn on your microphones as well. And yeah, make sure you've got a pen and a few sheets of paper, because we want to make sure that you take away notes from today that are actually going to help you in your life. It's not just 90 minutes and you forget about it. You know, Taqaddum is all about learning things and using them in all areas of your life. And of course, this is Taqaddum. So make sure you're ready to step out of your comfort zone and have fun. Those are our 2 main objectives for today. So you learn something new, step out your comfort zone, and of course, have fun while you learn along the way.
Yes, and we start with a bit of a poll. There are about 8 questions. So just respond to them. They are simple questions, yes or no, and then we will share the results and we'll discuss a little bit about these results and how they are related to our webinar.
Do you have values that are a compass in your life? If you have a time machine, where would you go? In the future, in the past, or stay where you are? Really important question, perhaps the most important question. Would you put pineapple on pizza? I really want to know the answer to this one.
We have a debate in the chat box about the pineapple. So there was a comment, and I tried to read it as much as accurate as possible. Ew, I think so.
What I really like in the chat is a lot of people saying, well, okay, I'll try something new. I like trying new things. So it sounds crazy, but I'll do it anyway. And that's the exact Taqaddum mindset that we love. And we're going to actually come back to this idea of trying new things later on in the workshop. So I love seeing this energy that you've all got to try something new. And so today's session, we're looking at developing life skills in your life. So that's because we really want to help you develop lives that are fulfilling and happy. And in order to do that, what we would like to give you is life skills and the tools and techniques to work on your well-being, your self-awareness, building positive relationships with friends and family, explore passions and purpose, develop resilience and control over your life and the future. So that's what today's session is all about.
So quickly about today's goals, there are 3 main parts. We talk about values and how to set them. We will also talk about a concept that's called growth mindset and how we can adapt it in our life. And thirdly, we will talk about directing our own lives the most possible way by making informative choices.
So actually, if we go back to the goals, I want to know from the group, if you all agree with today's goals, you're looking forward to learning something today around these goals, I'd love to unmute and we all say yes, Taqaddum at the same time. So unmute yourselves. I'm going to say yes, Taqaddum. 3, 2, 1.
Yes,
تقدم.
Yes, تقدم.
Yes.
Nice one.
Great.
Nice one, Shania. That's a good feedback. Very good.
Good feedback, good energy from across the world. Fantastic. So today's session, we're going to be focusing on this idea of a tree, because we're human beings, we tend to forget things. So that's why we wanted to give you this tree as something that you can use for today's session, but also in all areas of your life moving forward. I know for myself, I have a tree like this and I've got it in my room on the wall. So I look at it every day and I use it when I get stuck on decisions or things like that. On your piece of paper, we'd love you to draw your tree. This tree can represent you. The only thing that we need your tree to have is the roots. You need to have a trunk in the middle and some branches with leaves or fruits or flowers. You can decide what's growing out of your tree. Would love to see some trees from some people if they would like to share on the camera and explain what they've drawn or why they've drawn their own unique tree. Would anyone like to volunteer? Fantastic. Lovely, lovely.
Thank you.
Okay, so what are we going to do with this tree? What's the first step that we're going to actually use this tree for?
The first step, we talk about something very deep about values. So we talk about values and we try to think about what does that mean? What values mean for us?
Values is like the rules I put for myself during the journey of life, something you can work on or so you can improve. Values are something that shape you and make you what you are. They are the things you believe that are important in your way of life. Absolutely.
Me and Nishani, when we were brainstorming the same way that you just did now in the chat box, we were thinking about they are ethical compasses for us. It's like they define where our direction goes and they identify what is important to you. So they make you have priorities, what is more important than the other. And then we go back to our tree. That makes the values or the roots of this tree, because roots are very important for the tree. They keep it grounded. They provide it with nutrients to grow.
Mindset. You may have heard this term before, mindset. Mindset is the way that you think or your attitude. So you can have a positive mindset or a negative mindset or a realistic mindset or a creative mindset. And we'd love to introduce to you this idea called growth mindset and fixed mindset. The mindset that you have is the trunk of the tree, and it will determine how tall your tree grows. So you might have really, really strong roots, but how tall your tree grows depends on if you've got a growth mindset. The studies show that when you try and adopt a growth mindset, your brain actually starts activating more and more to achieve things. And when you start thinking like this, it changes the way your brain works. So it's actually really, really powerful. When you do get a setback or a challenge, someone with a fixed mindset would blame others, or they give up, or they don't want to try anymore. Whereas a growth mindset is you realize, okay, I've had a challenge, something's taken me back, but I'm going to use that to work even harder and motivate me even more.
Yes, now it's the real talk part, because now we grow from the roots to the trunk. Now you're ready, your tree is ready to grow, it's strong. You have a strong root, a strong trunk mindset. But then when we go to the branches, it's time to make some decisions. It's time to think about the directions where your tree of life is heading. So what are we going to do is that you are going to use the back of the paper of the tree. So now we're using the back of the tree as our draft. And you try to write at least 5 things you need or you want to achieve in life. Make my parents proud. This is what comes to my mind every day. Yes, it could be a life goal. Now you think about urgency. Now we introduce time to the concept of the goal, because some goals are short term, some goals are long term. Some goals you need it now, urgency at that time, at that moment, and some you still need it, but it can wait. So the idea is that you make your life decisions based on the information you have at the moment, so it's informed decisions, but also you should have the skills as well to think about them again at a time. So now you have the tree complete. You have the roots, and you have the trunk, and then you have the 3 life goals out of the 5 that you wrote at the beginning. These are the branches that you would like your life to take this direction.
Because you have your wonderful trees, and you're all such beautiful trees, but for the trees to grow into their best condition, we have weather and the environment. And that's something that we can't always control. The weather is always going to change. And so it's about being strong in your tree and making sure that when the weather does change in your lives, your tree will still stay rooted because you've got those values, and they will keep you in the ground if it's a rainy, stormy day, and you can look back at those values. They will help you to grow even if the weather isn't perfect. You've still got that growth mindset to help you to grow no matter what the weather is. And you've got those goals as well to make sure that you know which direction you're kind of going in no matter the weather. And so the last thing we're going to do with your tree is just think about what are the conditions that are ideal for your tree to grow in. These are some conditions that I really need for my tree to grow. So for me, I know I really need to be making a difference. Whatever I'm doing, I still want to be making a difference. I need to be healthy eating and exercising every day. Spend time with friends really makes me feel good. It helps me to grow. I like to keep things simple when there's too many things going on. And for me, I also like having very clear goals. What are the ideal conditions for you to grow in? So even when the weather changes, you can still come back and you can say, you know what? I looked at my tree and I haven't been spending any time with my friends. And so maybe that's the conditions that I need to work on and try and improve. I might not be able to exercise right now, but let me go and work and spend some time with friends. So what things, looking at the tree and looking at your roots again, start at the bottom. Am I following my values? Am I living by these values? Do I need to change some of these values? What can I do to really live in these values? You'll have a lot of decisions. Which decision do you want to grow in? It's hard to know. So going back to this really useful technique that Arm showed you, you can draw that table out when you've got a lot of decisions to make and see, okay, right now, I need to focus on this decision, and this decision for my tree to grow is going to go in this direction for now. And then later I can think of the other decisions.
But the tree is not solid, not static, because sometimes we make that mistake. We think that the tree is just there, but also your tree can grow. Not just grow, it also interacts and reacts with what's around it. There is a life cycle for the tree as well. But even more, there is also trees around you. Trees grow in forests. There is an entire ecosystem around you. And this system affects you, and you also affect this system.
Yeah, so the last task then we have for you is just thinking about we need to take action, because this is beautiful and nice to have a little tree, but it's really easy to then forget about it and go and watch Netflix or do something else. But that's not going to help you. We encourage you strongly to take action and think right now, commit to yourself, commit to the group in the chat if you want to. What is one area in life that you can use this tree to help you right now? You can continue the journey. Look out for webinar 3 and webinar 4 will come soon. There are lots of videos and activities, reading resources and links on the Thakadam website, British Council, thakadam.britishcouncil.org/online. You can see Amr and I, we've talked about these activities as well. He talks you through the choice making activity if you want to do that again. Use your handbooks, share your journey on social media, and of course download the app as well, where there are lots more challenges and things for you to do and missions on there. So keep going with your journey and share with us how well you do, and the rest of the team looks forward to seeing you for webinar 3 very, very soon. And we can say 1 year last Thakadam. Shall we do that together? 3, 2, 1.
Yes,
Thakadam.
You're a very committed bunch of people.
I hope you got something out of it as well. If you did, you can share it in the chat box. Otherwise, we'll see you all for the next one.